Picture this, a bitter winter storm, wind whipping around your barn. Inside, you hear creaks and groans, knowing the wood is drying out, splitting under the strain. Every spring brings new worry, more repair bills. The sun beats down, stealing life from the timber, making it look tired and old. But what if there was a shield, a simple thing that stopped all that? A true protector, guarding your barn for a lifetime. That feeling we just talked about, that worry in your gut when you hear the wind press against the barn, it's a heavy burden to carry. A barn isn't just a building. For so many of us, it's a landmark for our family, a piece of our story. And being the one responsible for it, that stewardship, can feel overwhelming. You see the wood turning gray, cracking under the sun, and you immediately think of the cost. You think of big, expensive paints, professional crews, and bills that just keep adding up. It feels like an impossible fight against time and the weather. But what if the best defense wasn't some $1,000 fix? What if it was something that costs less than a gallon of gas? Today, we're going to talk about that shield. We're going to show you a simple, traditional treatment that protects your timber from sun and moisture, and keeps your barn looking timeless. It's a secret that's been hiding in plain sight, and it can save you a fortune while giving you priceless peace of mind. So let's talk about what's actually happening to your barn. It's easy to blame the big storms, the wind, the driving rain. But the real damage, the deep damage, starts on a perfectly calm, sunny day. The sun is a powerful thing. It gives life, it gives warmth. But that same sunlight, day after day, year after year, is waging a quiet war on your wood. The UV rays, the part you can't even see, are working like a million tiny hammers, breaking down the very fibers on the surface of your boards. At first, you don't notice it. But then, you start to see the color change. That silver gray look that so many people think is just old barn wood, that's not a color. It's a sign of surrender. It means the sun has bleached out the boat's natural protective walls. It's the first sign that the wood is losing its life force, that it's becoming weak and vulnerable. Once those walls are gone, the wood starts to dry out from the inside. Think of it like soil in a drought. It gets hard, brittle, and then it starts to crack. You see little hairline fractures at first. Then over time, those small cracks get bigger and deeper. They become tiny little channels, inviting the next enemy in. And that enemy is moisture. Now, when it rains or when the morning dew settles, the water doesn't just sit on the surface anymore. It seeps right into those cracks, deep into the heart of the wood. The board swells up. Then the sun comes back out, bakes it dry, and the wood shrinks again. Swelling and shrinking. Season after season. That constant movement just pulls those cracks wider and wider apart. It's a vicious cycle that never stops. The sun weakens the wood, and the moisture exploits that weakness. This isn't just about looks. It's not about your barn just looking old. Every single crack, every splintered edge, is a failure in the barn's armor. The cladding is what keeps the weather out and protects the main frame, the very bones of the building. When that cladding gets brittle and weak, it's only a matter of time before bigger problems start to show up inside. This is the silent part of the struggle. It happens so slowly, you can almost miss it. It's not a dramatic collapse. It's a quiet, steady surrender to the elements. And it's this slow, silent decay that we have to understand before we can learn how to stop it. So how do you fight back against a silent enemy? How do you give that tired, vulnerable wood a shield that can stand up to the sun and the rain for decades to come? The answer isn't some fancy, new-age chemical that costs a fortune. It's the opposite. It's a simple, time-tested formula that has been protecting barns for generations. A mixture so effective, and so affordable, it boils down to about $4 a gallon. This isn't just paint, and it's not just a stain. Think of it as 3 medicines in one. First, you have the part that deals with the sun. It's like a powerful sunblock for the wood. It contains pigments, color, that physically block those damaging UV rays from ever reaching the wood fibers. This is what stops that bleaching, that graying process, in its tracks. It keeps the wood's natural strength and color locked in. Next, you have the part that deals with moisture. This is a special blend of oils and waxes that don't just sit on the surface. They soak deep into the wood, into all those tiny cracks and pores. They waterproof it from the inside out. When rain hits it, the water just speeds up and rolls right off instead of soaking in and causing that cycle of swelling and shrinking. And the third part, this is the one that gives the wood its life back. It's a conditioner. A deep penetrating oil that nourishes the wood, replacing the natural oils that the sun baked out over the years. It makes the wood flexible and strong again, instead of brittle and cracked. It stops new cracks from forming and keeps the existing ones from getting any worse. Sunblock, rain coat, and a deep conditioner, all in one. When you mix these elements together, you create a shield. A breathable shield. That's the key. Unlike thick paint that can trap moisture and peel, this formula becomes part of the wood itself. It moves with it, breathes with it, and protects it day in and day out. And this isn't a quick fix that you have to redo every other year. This is a long-term commitment. When you apply this treatment correctly, you are giving that barn a defense that can last for 30 years. 60 years of peace of mind. 30 years of knowing that the heart of your structure is safe. That's the power of this simple formula. It's not about spending a lot of money. It's about using wisdom. It's about understanding what the wood truly needs and giving it exactly that. It's an act of stewardship that honors the past and protects the future. Alright, so how do we put this wisdom into practice? How do we take this simple formula and use it to bring that old barn back to life? It's a process that asks for a little bit of patience. It's not about rushing. It's about doing it right, so the work you do today lasts for decades. The first step, and honestly the most important one, is preparation. You can't put medicine on a dirty wound. You have to clean the wood first. Over the years, your barn has collected a layer of dust, dirt, maybe even a little green algae. All of that has to come off. For most barns, a good stiff brush and some elbow grease will do the trick. You just want to get that surface clean so the treatment can really soak in. If you have a lot of grime, you might be tempted to use a power washer. You can, but be very careful. Use a wide fan tip and keep your distance. The goal is to clean the wood, not to gouge it or force water deep inside where it can get trapped. After it's clean, the next step is to just wait. This is where that patience comes in. The wood has to be completely, totally dry. Not just dry to the touch, but dry deep down. Depending on your weather, this could take a few good, sunny days. If you apply this treatment to damp wood, the oil can't get in. It's that simple. Bruising this step will undo all your hard work. Once it's clean and bone dry, you need to pick the right day to apply the treatment. You're looking for a Goldilocks day, not too hot, not too cold. A nice, overcast day with no rain in the forecast is perfect. If it's too hot or the sun is beating down, the treatment can dry on the surface before it has a chance to soak deep into the grain. Now for the best part, the application. This is where you get to see the life come back into the wood right before your eyes. You don't need any fancy equipment. A good, wide brush is perfect. A roller can work for big flat areas, or even a garden sprayer if you have a really large barn.